MyMobileWorkers is a specialist in the highway sector, working with over 40 different companies, completing all sorts of tasks from traffic management to concrete into fencing to landscaping and lots of other things. And the reason why these companies choose to use MyMobileWorkers are three main ones. Historically, it was all about big admin cost savings, removing paper, but more so the admin time that went with paper, from printing and scanning and chasing and processing. And that will pay for the system outright on its own. But more and more in highways, the key thing that people are interested in is the ability to force a process to use an app, which you can't do on paper. So vehicle checks have to be completed before you can move on. Site briefings, photos, etc. all have to be completed before you can complete the job. And the key thing is everything they do complete is recorded with a time and date and a location to prove it to clients. So that's instrumental in firstly getting paid by clients, but also for a lot of people, the ability to negate any fines that came in by having proof that everything was covered correctly. That has also now moved into areas such as clients demanding things like customer portals, which we also provide. Your key focus is about forcing process. So how MyMobileWorkers does that? Well, there's two elements to the system. You have what we call the web portal, your office side of it, where your jobs are created, your planning is done, tracking, etc. The other element is the mobile app your operatives are out using to complete the job. So on this side, what we do is we take your current job sheet, your current process, and we build it in entirely as it is, as you require it. So the mobile app particularly is completely customized to your process. So you would create a job in here with the client details and the job details. And once the job is created, that can then go onto our built-in planning board. This board replicates traditional whiteboards that would have been used by most companies, and will basically show you a nice graphical view of all your jobs planned in for the week. And importantly, where it's got +1 here is where resource or vehicles are still required to be added to that job. So a very nice view for a planner of all the jobs and also what is required. And in order to assign some resource, you can click on that, and that will show you which operatives are available, which operatives are unavailable for that job, either because they're on sick leave at the time or holiday or they're on another job altogether. And you can also do the same thing for vehicles. You've got all types of vehicles you require for that job, what's available, what's not available. And we can also incorporate people's qualifications into the system. So against each user, you can bring in all their qualifications, see who's qualified for that job and who's available. So once the jobs are being created and then they've been planned, they'll be sent out to the mobile app. And the mobile app can force vehicle checks. It will give them a list of jobs. It will do sat nav when they arrive at the job. But the key thing for a lot of people is around forcing that process. So for example here, now we would build your form in with your questions, but the idea is once your guy arrives on site, in this example, he has to do his power. And all the things you can imagine, we can have drop-down lists and notes boxes and yes, no's and all the things you can imagine. We've even got specific things for traffic counts, and we'll take your forms and build them in. Now, where it gets a bit more useful for people is things like this. So we've told the operative there's a photo required. Let's say he forgets or can't be bothered, let's just get on with it. If he tries to continue, the app won't let him. It says, no, you can't continue. You've got to take a photo for that question. So this will be designed by you in the flow. But the idea is you cannot leave this job until he's done what he's told. You can also be a bit smarter based on the answer to a question. So equipment correct for location. Yes, that's fine. We can carry on. But if the operative put no for that, well, because he's put no, it might force a photo at that point. Or depending on what the question is, it might make him fail the job. Or what it can also do is take him off down a slightly different route in the app to answer some different questions. This is quite a simple example. What action was taken, I'm happy to continue. But that could be a full checklist or a set of signatures, however you need it. The key point is it forces that process. So your guy will continue through doing site briefings, risk assessments, pre-site photos, end of job photos. And then once the job is complete, it will come back here and turn green. And then as soon as it turns to completed, all you can do is click into that job there, and it will give you all that information. So within a couple of seconds of the job being complete, everything is back here completed, including all your job data, and with your photos, everything included here, your kit list, quantity and end quantity, and then importantly for a lot of people, every stage of that job, from viewing the job to arriving at the job to completing it, will have a time and date with it. So let's say the guy arrived at 9:15, you can prove that with the location for all that there. If you need to provide a copy of this to a client, you've got a couple of options. Firstly, you can just export this out, and you can either email that directly, and we can incorporate your email details into here, or you can download that, choose what you want to show on it, and that can just then give you a PDF completed job sheet from that. And the job sheet then, we can put your logo on it, but the idea is all the job data, signatures, kit, risk assessment photos, and importantly for a lot of people we speak to, the photos all have the time and date and location printed on them. Now, I speak to a lot of people who say in order to get paid by their client, they have to have that proof. That all comes out the box, part of this. The other option you have with this, rather than have to send sheets off, we've also got customer portal, where potentially you can give clients their own online live version to access this. MyWorkers has lots of other features, but the core thing is around getting your job sheets, building them in, and collecting all the job data you need. We do also have things like lots of alerts. We have live tracking, timesheet reports, and lots of other things, which I'd love to show you on a full demo at some point. Thank you.